be confused. Education first and different will be ready in the time of repatriation.
You're in tune to the Powerhouse Radio, linking the world to the Caribbean. You're in tune to the Powerhouse Radio, linking the world to the Caribbean. Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on the Powerhouse radio station are those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other hosts or advertisers. The show found on the Powerhouse radio station can promote any lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or conditions. Opinions stated by various contributors to the Powerhouse Radio and its programming are not to be considered as endorsed by the Powerhouse Radio station. Visitors are urged to use their own discernment to draw their own conclusion. We emphasize the importance of keeping an open mind.
Yeah. You listen to the sounds of DJ Fourth Quarter in your ears right now. If you're in your car, if you're at home, if you're on your phone, it's right, baby.
Radio, same thing every day. So with me live, something that you can up every night. Tune in to the Powerhouse. I'm trying to hide out for the goodness. Tonight, the night is tonight. So it's the link for the show. You need something to just ride to one of those. Or you might be home to log on. You can do it out on your phone. I promise that you got to love it. Just have one time. Every
Wednesday from 7 to 9.
Good evening. Welcome to January the 7th, 2026. Thank you for tuning in to the powerhouseradio.com. Joining us today, we have our hosts, Dr. Ross, McKenna, and MG. They're not here, but they'll be back soon. So we're going to get into it. Welcome to 2026. Hey, Dr. Ross, it's 2026. What's going on?
Yo, it's amazing, man. I mean, 2026 is upon us like a thief in the night, and before you know it, it's just going. 7 days into the new year already. So, back to school and all of that, kids on the road, and it's a blessing. So, whatever challenges come with it, then we just gonna accept it.
I know, because it was just Christmas. Then we were just bringing in New Year's. But today is the 7th. I'm like, whoa, we are almost at the half of the January already. I'm like, these days are really, really going fast.
Yeah, for sure, man. Before you know it, people be buying gifts for Valentine's and it's 14th February.
I know next month is Valentine's Day. Then we're gonna go into Easter, Memorial Day. Oh, wait a minute! Back up. Of course, you got to celebrate the holiday. The Aries birthday. I'm always gonna put that on the map. But thank you. Hey, McKenna, how are you? McKenna is in the chat. So again, we here. We're gonna chop it up. We have a lot going on for the new year. I mean, of course, the name of the show is Let's Gripe. Do you have any gripe? Because I have a gripe, and then that's going to lead into the topic that we're going to get in on. Do you have any gripe?
Yeah, my gripe is technically fear-mongering is something that is going on, and I think when it comes to our people, I think also we in the Caribbean or the islands, I think that's something that a lot of us are worrying about. and where are we going to? Are we going back to the medieval time? Are we going back to the time where the powerful ones just take what just take just whatever they see fit, they just take it. So that's just my gripe. That's something that's laid on my spirit, and I'm not comfortable, and I know a lot about it. I'm not.
I woke up one morning, and after I give God thanks for allowing me to see another day, and I went on, took the phone up, and then I go on the internet, and I'm seeing some stuff, and I'm like, this can't be right. I said, but it's not good. Didn't hear the news, didn't see the news, but what I saw was the administration captured another country president. I said, this can't be good. So I go to, the credible, TV station, the CNN, and I was like, wait. So I called one of my girlfriends. I said, because I know her husband, he's a former, he's a veteran. I said, this can't be good, is it? She said, oh, wait. And we talked about it for a minute. I got off the phone and I sat here and I'm like, sugar, I'm trying to make some plans for my birthday trip, for my summer trip. I said, but I don't know. I might be going to war. I don't know. We lost Dr. Ross, so I'm gonna talk until he come back in. Well, my gripe is, could we be possibly heading to war? I mean, are we gonna go to war? We done kidnapped another country president. We done, and then we trying to capture some more. Are we gonna go to war? So in my head, I'm like, shoot. Should I be planning for anything tomorrow? Or the next day or the next day? So my gripe is, can somebody come and capture our administration? That's my gripe tonight.
Shout out to Sister Kim in the chat, man. Blessings, Queen. But it's we're seeing it, and if we go back in time just a little bit down our history, we see where that was the case where Spaniard at one point they did that to us. The Portuguese they did that. I mean, German they did that with Hitler, and we see the English even now today some of their reign and some back those times. So when Christopher Columbus said that, oh, they discovered the new world that was occupied and they had those histories. We see where that comes from. So now we're seeing that the countries, the ones that were powerful, example the American, the France, those are who are in power, they can go to countries of lesser value in terms of maybe the nuclear power that they don't have or the security force. And they can say, listen, if you don't give us this or you don't give us that, then we're simply going to take your country and we're going to ruin your country. So it's setting a precedent, and that's something that I personally don't agree with. And we're saying that China can go to Taiwan and do the same thing, or Russia could just go to Ukraine and say, listen, we need that country, we need it now. So is it that America is setting that trend to say, yes, if you're powerful enough, it is acceptable? Or something I don't agree with.
Ooh. So that's a lot to digest, especially. Okay, so Kim said, "Amen, Tonia, come and get our leader." I mean, I'm saying it's a lot, especially for a lot of people who are not familiar with the history of these countries when it comes to wars and how they start and the reason behind it. But just looking just looking at the door right now, just seeing what's going on, and to hear this administration talk it's pretty much like you're trying to steal other people's things. And because you have the military, you have resources, you think you could just go ahead and do that. So for someone like me, my anxiety is on fleek. My anxiety is on fleek. It's like you're gonna wonder what is really gonna happen. That is something that is going to be thought of on your daily run. But the thing is that from looking on from the outside is like this administration is horrible. And it's not for the good of the country. It's not for the good of the people. But it's more like, while I'm here, let me just do some destruction. Let my name go down in history for whatever it may be. I don't care because, 100 years from now, I'm not going to be here, but I want my name to be in the next history book. That's what I'm gathering from this administration.
For me, to be honest, it seems like with every government, regardless of the administration, it seems that there's some agendas, hidden agendas, and there are lists of things that must be completed by whatever form it may be. So that's just my take. So it seems like there's a mandate, there's a list. So whichever government, whichever comes in power, the next president, there are a list of things that you need to complete or you have to abide by. And if you don't, then there seems to be some kind of consequences. And not to cut from this, but our dear brother, Dr. Omar has this thing where he's saying that if voting could change anything in this country, then it would have been illegal. And honestly, I'm looking at it because we do see where we vote and persons come together, and but what does it lead to? We the black people, we do a lot of voting, and I'm sure the last when this president before he comes in, he said, "Listen, I'm going to end all the wars in whatever time, and the Ukraine war is going to be over in a record time, and we're going to focus on the American people. We're going to put the American people first." And those were the sentiments, those were the utterance. And we can see where so many things are going on. Such health care, a lot of persons don't have health benefits. The housing crisis, there's so many things spiraling out of control, and we haven't seen personally those things are not being addressed. What we've seen is interest to go in other persons in sovereign countries who have their rights and just to take. And I beg to differ. So the plans and the promises that were set out for, I think they're being ignored. And this seems like it's a trend. Whichever government, they said they're going to do so much, but when they comes into power, then the focus changes. But it must not be looked upon that it is okay to go to whatever country you want and say we need this and we're going to do it by force. And I'm just going to say this. When we see the bigger countries say, okay, a certain country like Iran and maybe other African nations, they're not allowed to have nuclear weapons. So they're saying that, listen, you cannot have nuclear weapons because it is going to cause some kind of destruction and they probably will do stuff. I'm looking at it now and saying that I don't support this whole nuclear thing, but it seems like as a country, if you're running a country and you're the head of state, it seems like that's the only safe way to protect yourself and your people from outside intruders. Because if you notice the countries who have nuclear weapons, they're not being invaded and they're not being attacked. Look at the history. Russia, no one is coming to attack America here. No one is attacking Russia, the Germany, the France. Those countries who have nuclear power are weapons. So is it that they're saying that listen, you can't have nuclear power because when we're ready, we're just gonna confiscate the resources that we have.
I mean, on the humorous side, we have a lot of things that I think other countries could come and get. I mean, I'm just saying, because everything that's going on under this new administration doesn't make sense. And just to change the narrative from the Venezuela um, issues, we're still under the same administration. Here it is. We have ICE. ICE is separating family. The campaign promise was, we're going to deport the illegals that are criminals. You decide to do the opposite, and you're just anyone that is not a legal resident citizen, you're deporting them. You're separating families. When you don't care, you're sending people, deporting people to countries they're not even from. But now you have given these ICE agents, you have given them like power to pretty much, dead or alive, any kind of force is necessary, they can use it. And with that, they walk around like they are untouchable. Today, guess what? One of them was trigger happy, was ready to do something because he knew that the administration would back them, and jumped on a young lady's hood of her vehicle and shot her in her face multiple times. And of course, she passed away. But before that, even they were even saying there was a doctor in the area that tried to render CPR aid, and they refused her getting that. So now you have videos out there, and after the mayor of Minneapolis has viewed this video, which is gonna start popping up on social media any time now, shows that what they're saying, self-defense, is not actually the case. This person was actually doing a U-turn to turn around, and this man jumped on the hood and started to shoot her at point blank. The reason why this made the news, because guess what? It's a white woman. If it was a black woman, if it was a Latino woman, if it was any other minority, it wouldn't have made the news like it did. But this administration is backing the ICE agents, which video says different. So how is it that living in this country, how can anyone sleep at night peacefully at this time?
You know, just to add to what you're saying, I am not happy that anyone lost their life, because a loss of life is very sad. That's not something we want to celebrate or anything. But I'm actually what I'm happy with that it's not a black and someone who has some immigration status issue going on. Because if that was the case, then as I said, it would have been a different story. It would have been that an undocumented person tried to run whatever over. So it's a legal resident, a citizen, and it was Caucasian. So that makes it so different. So now we see that they are actually targeting their own. And if it is that they have no regard for their own, then we are colored people, and I don't even want to use the word colored, but we as minorities have a lot to do with it. I know it's probably not safe, and you probably just be walking around as random people, and you are going to be attacked. You know that. And one of the things I found out recently, listening to some info, is that it's alleged that some, I think they say Lowe's and another, I'm not sure if it's Home Depot, so it's alleged that they install cameras in their in their parking lot. So those are some license plate cameras. So once you park in those areas, those cameras capture your license plate, and the local law enforcement have access to those information. And then the ICE, they can request those information. So you'll be driving and you randomly get pulled over. Other persons are wondering how they know that you are undocumented or your status is in question. So you see where they're cahoots and they're working together. So they have the information, they request it from local law enforcement. So right away they know where you are, they track you and they're doing it. So it's a system they put in place now. So it's not just TSA where the information is at our the local train station and whatever we have to provide ID now. It's a nationalized thing. So it's very dangerous.
Okay, so and that's, in one hand, I get it, because we do have people that comes from other countries, like the people from 9/11. We have those the bombers. So I understand having those things in place to weed out the bad. And I think no one is against that. But you're not weeding out the bad. You have compiled everyone, the good, the bad. You combine everyone in one basket. That you are making this a bigger thing. We talked about it a few weeks ago with your taking up all these people, the farmers. You don't have people do these jobs where you're taking them from. So now you're causing economic crisis, and then at the same time, you are causing people to lose their life. Family members are separated, sending them to different countries. So it's just so much with that that's going on that makes this whole situation uneasy. So even if you're saying, okay, I understand they're trying to weed out the bad, but you have to do it in a certain order. And that's what they're not doing. They're not doing it in a certain order. So that's why now it's people are fighting. They're standing up for the minorities that are being harassed by these ICE agents. They did pass a law that if you are undocumented and you have your papers in, to go to in front of the judge, they have to allow that. So now you have to go in front of a judge before they can deport you. So at least now a lot of things are being done to protect people who are waiting to go in front of a judge in order to get their documents. They are now able to go in front of a judge. Before they would pick them up, their papers saying, oh, they're undocumented, even though they are waiting for an interview, and they would automatically deport and put them on the next plane. Now they can't do that. But it's hundreds and thousands of people that has already been deported. That is a scary thing. My opinion, and I think there's others that can agree with it. This administration cannot be trusted. There is no morals with this administration. It's all about one particular person and their family. But I sometimes you get mad and you say, when is this going to be done? When is this going to change? But I understand. I started to kind of sit back and paying attention more. It's like, okay, it doesn't make sense for them to impeach him. It doesn't make sense to go after him regarding kidnapping that country president. Because guess who runs the House right now? The Republican has the House. The Republican has the Congress. The Republicans has the Supreme Court. So here it is. This is a crucial year for the midterms. So there's a lot of people there's a lot of seats that is up for reelection. So what's going to happen? What has been happening since last year? These red states, these are turning. They're electing Democrats. Once that Democrats get the House and the Senate, the Congress, then they can do the impeachment. And as of yesterday, he's already pleading, man, you guys got to go out there and vote. Because if you do not vote, if we lose those seats, they're going to impeach me. So, because he knows, and he's going to get impeached, and he's going to be ousted out. But until then, every day we wake up to something that is unprecedented.
Well, it's very troublesome, you know. But I doubt the impeachment thing. I'm not so much with it, as in, I'm not saying I don't agree with it, but is it really going to happen? We have seen that a couple of times with the history, and I don't know if at the end if that's going to be a thing. And what the thing is that even if he does get impeached, do you think the agendas will change and some of the stuff that is going on? Do you see it being resolved? How are we gonna get justice? People are gonna be fair. Is it gonna look good for us as a people?
Honestly, so of course it's just like when you buy a house, the previous owners they painted the bathroom black, they painted the living room red. So now you sold the house, so now you have to go in there. So you're gonna have to change. You're gonna have to prime the walls in order to paint it to change the color from black and red. So it's the same thing when it comes to the politics and everything that's going on. Yes, when he's out of office, there's a lot of things that is going, and it's going to go through the process. It's going to go through Congress. It's going to go through even the courts. But there are things that are going to, it's not going to be overnight. There are things that is going to have to be justice. Right now, for anyone that has, for example, Medicaid, and even Medicare, as well as even working insurance. Everyone should notice that their premiums went up for 2026. Co-pays went up, specialties went up. All of those things has changed. So these things are going up. There's not an increase. Prices are high when it comes to groceries and regular day necessities. So they're gonna do it in increments. But the first thing we gotta get him out. And we gotta get the people them who's behind him out. Because until we're able to do that, we're going to feel every crunch of it. So that is my take on the administration that we have at this current time, because that's what I call it. It's not my this, it's not our this. To me, it's an administration. So that's my take on it. We want to get to either did you have anything to add on closing out about the administration? Or we could get into more something. I did receive a email the other day. They wanted us to touch on a certain, we had a viewer have a question. So did you want to close out with the administration, or you just want to go
Well,
to that viewer's question?
I have to be frank. Well, if if changing the administration been good for the people and the way that we're living, and they're gonna be some positive light, then I have to agree with it. But if it's going to be the same, then I don't know if it makes any sense. But if changes, well, if we're talking about changes, then yes, for the greater good for the people, and I have to agree with that. So that's just my take on it. Once it's positive change, then I'm good with that.
There's a song, I forgot the heading of the song, and but it's an old song. Change is gonna come. It is gonna come, and it is gonna be a good change. Unfortunately, we're just gonna have to do it, and I mean, unfortunately, who knows? We won't be able just to get someone and grab him out, steal him and his administration out through the night, So we're going to have to go through the voting process. So for all our listeners, if you have not registered to vote, or you should go to your Secretary of State website just to verify that you are registered to vote the 2026 election. If you not registered, go on and register. For the ones who did not want to vote the last election for whatever reason, go on and register, and just go on and just mark the box blue. Just the first letter you see says DEM. Just go on and just go on and select it. Don't even worry about who they is. On that note, I'm not even going to. A person, a relative of mine, did not vote. They did mention that if they were to vote, they would have voted for this administration. So the other day, I was talking to them and I said, hey, so you didn't vote, but you said if you would have voted, you would have voted for this administration. How's it working out for you now? Oh man, this, the only thing that I agree with is about the transgender folks. I said, so that one thing that has nothing to do with us or you, that you have the answer to God about, now we got all this other foolishness going on. I said, see? I said, ain't that something? Something that we don't even have nothing to do with. Because they still walking around here. They're walking around here. You make that part of man and woman being married be your judgment on who to vote for. Yeah. But your grocery bills done triple, your medical bills done triple, your rent is out the hoo-ha, interest rate is out the hoo-ha. How is it working for you now? So for the people, I've said it, there's no shame in my game. For the people who voted for this person or would have voted if they did, how is it working out for you at this time? How? And Elaine, good evening. Thank you for joining us. She said so true. So again, it's just, believe me, like I said, Dr. Ross, you originally from Jamaica, not too long. It's not gonna be overnight. You wake up and we're gonna be singing in the rain and hopping, hooping. But trust me, the day when that man is impeached, that's gonna take a lot of weight off of America. I promise. That I can at least say that, okay? Unless he, he try to do all other stuff, but we're not gonna get into that. But it will. It's not gonna be an overnight fix. But I mean, I look at it and me believing in God, know that before the calm, it has to be a storm, and this is the storm right now. So for all our listeners who listening right now, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as well, so you can be notified. If you notice, I be looking at my phone like this when Dr. Ross be talking. I be texting folks the link. So help me out. Go on and subscribe, so we'll send you the link. But also, what I want to get to is real quick, because we had a question. So the president of Venezuela was captured, and he had. Hello, Miss Singleton. How are you? Thank you for joining us. So he had on a Nike suit, not like mine's, but the same maker. And that tracksuit is now sold out on Nike's and other stores' website. I mean, for real? Really? But I ain't gonna lie though, when I first did see the picture that they showed him in the helicopter, handcuffed, blindfolded, I did look at that sweat. I was like, I looked at it, but it wasn't that serious for me to go and see where where they got it from, or when they did show It was a Nike's tracksuit to go check online to see how much it is. But can you believe that? Nike's just done sold out. Their first quarter is gonna be billions of dollars over that tracksuit that they put on that man when they abducted him. Because that's what they did. They kidnapped the man. What you think about that?
You know, on the contrary, that's something I've seen happen. Well, I don't want to say this country, but I've seen it happen. I can remember one case with this guy. I think his name is Jeremy. He's a convicted felon, and I think his mugshot went viral. And after back, he went and he was given, I think, some modeling contract just off that. Thousands of women were studying his thing. So we've seen the mugshot guy goes viral. Now we have seen the tracksuit, and I think it's a thing. Persons are probably not just looking at the crime, whatever is taking place. I think they put that aside. I think they put that aside, and they're saying, listen, the tracksuit is nice. We're making it famous. So for some reason, these things, the tracksuit even becoming more famous than the original cast and what is going on. Because it doesn't matter how we look at it. I don't think maybe it's because the United States went to Venezuela and did what they did. A lot of persons don't think nothing is wrong with it. Because the EU and England, they're not too much, they're not saying that it is wrong. They're not going to say that. But I could bet anything. If it was any other country who went and did that, they would have been condemned and it would have been a different case.
I so agree. And then I said on top of that, we can almost tell that there's a lot of us chocolate people buying those things, you know? And it's unfortunate,
Yeah, most of the time. Most of the time.
it's unfortunate. So, there it is. The billionaire just got richer. Um, all right. So, what I wanted to touch base with, we did receive an email from one of our listeners. So, the email basically states, "Hi, I currently, hi Donna, how are you?" She said there is a war against America going on right now. Okay, so well, we might have to invite you on the show one night and see what. Well, Donna, you usually be on Reasoning Thursday, so we're gonna tune in. So we're gonna follow Donna over to Reasoning Thursday tomorrow to find out because they have all the juice when it comes to all of the things that is going on in the administration and around the country. We just do a little snip of it because when it's really big. But thank you for that, Donna. So our listener, she said she recently broke up with her fiance. She said that her fiance has moved on. He's engaged to someone else, and she doesn't know how to feel because they were together for 5 years. So she wants to know from you if MG was here, it would have been you and MG, Dr. Ross, on the spot because she wants to know from a man point of view, how is that and why is that men are so easy to move on?
And to be honest, I don't, I wouldn't say men are easy to move on because as men, we're committed, and I think a lot of the time we're still hurting. And I am not going to say for the brother that the fact that he's been engaged meant that he has moved on. He probably have a different situation going on, but it's not for me to say he's 100%. I don't want to judge. But from if you have ever been in love and you have ever been in any kind of personal situation, you know how that goes. And if it indeed that the brother has moved on, we have to give him grace, and it's life. And It's not an easy. For my sister, I know that you probably love the brother and your heart is still there. So for you, it is going to be like that. I send healing energy your way. But for me, I wouldn't put it and say why men easily moved on. I thought it was the other way around. Because for me, I think women, I for me, I think women move on quicker than men. Because I've seen it so many times when you have breakup and within no time, the woman is dating. So it is always the same that a woman always have a backup plan. So it's out there. It's not a secret that women always have backup plans. And I always question, how is it that you move on so fast? So on the contrary, I think women move on faster than men. Maybe this case is just different.
All right, I need my ladies in the comments. I need my ladies in the comments. I can speak for myself. I can't speak for another woman. But no, we don't move on quickly. We don't, especially if it's love. Now, if it's a relationship that might have been based on lust, money, convenience, maybe. But women, no, it's usually men. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've been one of those women that has seen the other person move on faster. Us women, what we do, we try to heal from that situation, get over that situation, accept what happened, work on ourselves so we can be a better person and be a better person for the next person that we will meet. So, no, 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 no. Now, unfortunately, you may have been around people that something like that happened and that particular woman moved on quickly, but 90% of us women, nah, we still trying to figure out what caused the breakup, what we could have done to make it better. Um, it wasn't fixable. We are still trying to figure out what caused the breakup.
See, in a case like that, it's very sad. It doesn't matter where you put it. 'Cause, I mean, broken family, broken heart, it's not a good thing to deal with. But I can say that though, maybe if I should ask the female if she would love to get back to that relationship, and she want to get back with a guy, I would think maybe 100% she would say yes. She would love to work on things. So that's just the reality. The fact that she probably want to still work on her situation, she's finding it difficult. You understand? So that's the case where seems like she's more in love than the gentleman. And I don't want to judge anybody because I'm not their personality. You understand? But it just seems like if he should come back tomorrow and maybe apologize and say, listen, I'm sorry and I want to work things, he will accept him. And I don't blame her for that. That's just her case. But then we have to look at the situation. It's deep. You probably talk to both of them, they have their stories, they have their side, and to each his own. And from personal experience, I have an idea what the situation is.
Well, to our listener, you're listening tonight. That was the opinion of Dr. Ross as well as myself. We can come back to this when we have MG and McKenna here just to see what their input is, because usually McKenna, she's that voice of reason. So I'll say some things that is off the wall. I can say something that is crazy, but she will also tell what it is. So the Powerhouse Radio says Dr. Ross mouth turned sideways as in can say anything, uttering rubbish. All of this about the relationship, it's all about you hear that? Rubbish.
I mean, I hear it, and the truth be told, you got to sit down with the counselors, man, and you have to hash it out. And if two people doesn't want the same thing, it's difficult. If it's just one person showing interest and wanting, and I can tell it that personally, when it's just one sided, it's not going to work. You're going to be dying inside. I mean, I know she's dying inside. She hoped he'd return. She hoped she would call him. He would call her text. I mean, that's just the hope. But he said, "Listen, I'm moving on. I'm taking the next train. I'm hopping over on this side. This other female makes me more happy. I'm comfortable, and he's gonna do that." But it's not my situation, and I can't judge it because everybody know how difficult relationship is. Two were two different personality coming together trying to make it into one. I have my likes and dislikes. You have yours. We have to compromise. Relationship is difficult. It's not easy as people make it look. We like different foods. We are from different religions. We're different countries, different everything. We're trying to make it work. We have to meet as a common point. If it's not working, then what are we going to do? It doesn't matter what decision you make, somebody's going to end up sad.
But Dr. Ross, what she's saying is he moved on quickly. So in your experience, have you been with someone? It could have been that they broke up with you, or vice versa, you broke up with them. How long did it take you to meet someone that you were ready to settle down with again? Let's ask that. Let's ask it that way.
Very good question. But if I could ask a question around that, is there a timeline for someone to move on? Is there a timeline? That has to do with how you're feeling mentally, physically, and spiritually.
Yeah, well, yeah, because we know, but also when you are broken, when you are hurt, if there's something there, there's something that's called rebound. You have that person, you meet someone, and he's there throughout your grieving that relationship that just ending. Yes, you could end up getting in a relationship with that person because of he was there at that time. So it couldn't have it. Sometimes it's not planned. It's not that someone had someone on the side, and when you broke up, that person was there. 9 times out of 10 is usually that way, but especially for women, they usually have a male friend, and that male friend was there with that, was there for them, and it just that brokenness in them, they see something else in that person that they didn't see before. But then it turns out it could be rebound.
That's true, and that's very good. So that's a very good question. And remember, we're human beings, and no man is an island. And I think everybody deserves relationship. I think relationship is a very beautiful thing. We need that one person who we can really confide in. But it's not for me to put a time frame on it. But honestly, every situation differs. So the question I would ask to the sister is, once again, let me empathize with what you're going through. But what you say she moved on quickly. So how long was the breakup? I didn't get that from the email. Did she say how long was it? They have been separated?
She just said recently.
Recent. Because recent can be 3 weeks, 3 months.
A few months, yeah.
A few months. Because guess what? If it's a couple weeks, then I'll say, okay, then maybe you want to change somebody. So that could be it. But what if it's a couple months? Do you think 6 months is a reasonable time?
I don't think So my honest opinion is that if my honest opinion was that that woman was already in this man's life, that would be my opinion with that situation. That woman was already there. If that was not the case, he has met that woman, and maybe that woman is a woman that, in order for me to be with you, intimately, and I have to be married. And maybe that person was ready to get married, and propose to that person.
So one of the questions that we would have to ask though, and that we don't have that information. He said that they're separated. Is it that they were married before
No,
and they got divorced?
they were engaged to get married.
Oh. So
They're
they were
changing
engaged
narrative.
and so they were engaged to get married. He no longer wants to get married.
She just said that they broke up. They broke up,
Because one of the things, listen, one of the things that we have to understand too, Sister Tony, is that she was engaged, she was high in emotion, she was anticipating that they were going to get married and spend a lifetime together and live this beautiful life. She has that within her spirit. However, and let me tell you, if it is that this brother, because he's not engaged to the other sister, obviously he likes the idea of marriage or whatever. If it is that he moves on and carry out the whole marriage thing, my sister, I'm sorry, but she's gonna hurt way more than how she's hurting now. Because she's gonna now start to question herself as a woman. Wasn't I enough for you to want to spend your life with? What? She's gonna ask so many questions for herself. But I want to encourage her not to be too hard on herself because this is life. And sometimes the things that we want, this maybe is not the right thing for us. Sometimes the person we think is that person is really not that person. And sometimes we would beat ourselves. I've been told by persons who I've been close with, persons who I've wanted to spend, I thought I was going to spend my life with, that I was a mistake and they had regrets. And when you have been told things like that, it hurts. It puts you down, and even you yourself will question yourself. You ask questions deep down, and if you're not enough and what is wrong. But once this life is over, and you have to find ways and means of coping because you don't want to reach a point where you beat yourself too much, you start stressing, you end up being depressed, you can end up you lose your job, you don't want to work. It can take a total down spiral down on your health and your whole life, on your livelihood. It can destroy you. So you don't, my sister, please do not, if you're hearing us, please do not be too hard on yourself. If you're a believer, then pray some more, seek counseling, and I mean, I send in healing energy your way. That's it for me.
Well, thank you for that, Dr. Ross. Again, listener, you heard it from a man, and I definitely agree with him. Is this something? Just know, deep down inside what has transpired. Know who you are. Do not take it to the next level as far as thinking that you weren't good enough, that you didn't deserve, to be his wife. I've been there, done that, honey. The next time go around, honey, I'm just gonna put a chain around his neck. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say, but I'm on the real tip. Honestly, work on yourself, take care of you, and that man that's going to marry you, he's gonna find you. That's my say for our listener and anyone that's going through anything. We know how it is. A lot of time we do things in life. It could be a job, it could be buying a house, it could be going on a trip, it could be a relationship. A lot of times, things that we want, if it's not that what God will is for us, It's not going to happen. So always take those disappointment as I always said, the Holy Spirit talks to me. There's times that I want to go somewhere, do something, and if I heard something happen or it didn't happen, I'm like, the Holy Spirit told me not to go. The Holy Spirit told me to do this. That's what I call it. So not before when you don't have a close relationship with God, you'll say something. Something told me. I got a vibe not to go. I got a vibe to do this. I got a vibe to do that. But when you get those notions, a lot of times take it as, yeah, it wasn't meant to be. On that note, it's 8:00, even though we started a couple minutes late. But it's always a pleasure for you guys, for us coming here on Wednesday and having these conversations. And it is always greatly appreciated for our listeners, for you tuning in, sending a hello, text, chat in the chat while we're discussing different things. We appreciate you. We couldn't do it without you. If you notice, when Dr. Ross video had went out and it was spinning for him to come back, you notice how I was talking, kind of felt awkward at the time, like I was talking to myself, but I knew he was coming back in. But we thank you for always joining us. Thank you for always hitting me up saying if we're going to be on tonight. Don't forget the powerhouseradio.com and also Victoria radio station. Tomorrow, Thursday, we got Reasoning Thursday. On Saturday, we have the Lady D show, 12 to 4. So Berlene said that's why you have to get to know the individual before you commit. Berlene, how long? How long we got to know the person? Elaine said, I agree with you. Not easy to move on if you love him or her. You have a plan when you just decide to move on. That was not love. It was lust. There you go. That is true. But Berlene, we got to talk about that. How long it takes for you to know someone?
See, love and relationship is crazy, crazy. Listen, I've done met. I mean, persons who today I've met within a couple of days and they get married within a couple of weeks, and they're doing 20, 30 years together. I've done met persons they have they've dated for 6, 7, 8 months. They're dated for 2 or 3 years before they get married. They have checked all the boxes. They wanted someone who has a college education, who's working for a Fortune 500 company. They do all of that, and I don't think they spend 30, 40 years together getting grandkids and still going through divorce. I've seen so many scenarios. So honestly, I don't know what is perfect, but listen, we just have to take our chances, and it's just unfortunate. But my thing is that my little quote is, only a fool won't change his or her mind in the face of such evidence. That's just it. Good evening, Queen. Butterfly.
Good evening, Miss Butterfly. So on that note, we're going to say see you next Wednesday. McKenna will be here next Wednesday with myself and Dr. Ross. We'll see if MG are able to make it. But again, guys, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Please go ahead and click that like button and go ahead and subscribe so I don't always have to text every weekend, but I will.
Listen, we have to touch on some of these topics, the relationship topics. It's popping, it's really hot. I think mother and woman know it's different. This is way more than the red and blue pill. I think it's different. Now you can't even go on a date. You can't take a woman on a regular date. It has to be expensive. It has to be lavish. I'm questioning if your finances are on a certain level, then they say you're not supposed to be dating. Nobody go on coffee date or just have a drink date again. You have to be over the moon. You know? I don't know. Love and relationship, dating. The dating scene is messy right now. I don't know.
All right, so we don't have any more kidnappings, any more ICE incident with this administration. Next week we could do our gripe, and then we could get into those topics. Let's find out from the women. Like I said, McKenna is here. She is definitely the voice of reasoning, because she'll shut me down in 2 seconds, because she's gonna tell y'all the good, bad, and the ugly. I'm just gonna tell y'all the crazy. But we definitely gonna come back to this next week, though. Definitely gonna come back to the email that we received from the listener, and the question that Dr. Ross didn't pose. We see Veronica was there. Thank you for tuning in. Guys, remember, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, okay? So until next week, don't forget, tomorrow, 8 to 10, tune into Reasoning Thursday with Lady D and friends. Have a good night. Thank you for tuning in.
See you next week.
The Powerhouse, take us on out. Well, we're going to wait till the Powerhouse get us on out. Not just going to leave us hanging like that. The Powerhouse, where are you? Probably looking for one of those good music to put on while we're here.